Right, so what we're going to do in these examples in section 8.2 is we're going to take the hypothesis testing process that we talked about in the last section and we're going to put it all together. Again, some of the notes in the last section technically contain some stuff from section 8.1, but before we put our entire process together, I wanted to take a close look at each of our individual steps. So, just to review, remember hypothesis testing is a procedure that enables us to choose between two claims when we have variability in our measurements. Right? First, we're going to write our null and alternative hypothesis, which are two claims that we are testing. And then we're going to compute and interpret a test statistic and a p-value, and that's going to give us a decision for our problem. Right, so again, our 4-step procedure, we hypothesize, we state our hypotheses, prepare, get ready to test, identify our significance level, state and check conditions required for future computations, and state any assumptions that must be made. Compute to compare. Here's where we actually find our test statistic and our p-value, and then we finish it off by an interpretation. Do we reject or not reject the null hypothesis? What does that mean in context of the data? So what we have down here at the bottom is a brief description of our StatCrunch steps. We're going to go to stat, we're going to select proportion stats, one sample with summary. Notice that this is exactly what we did in section 7.4 when we were working on confidence intervals. We're going to enter the number of successes and the number of observations. Again, there's a little note there, use our n times p hat for our number of successes. So make sure as we're going through, you're entering those correct values in there. And then we're going to select the hypothesis test and enter the hypotheses. We're going to use n times p hat for our number of successes, but when we enter the hypotheses, we want to make sure that we use p naught, p sub 0. Again, I will put another thing posted in D2L, and we'll talk a little bit about this in class, so that way I can at least walk through a couple of examples showing you how to use these steps in StatCrunch.